Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be doing the first part of the Venom VFX that I made, and this part I would like to show you this shot. As you can see that there's a lot going on in this shot and there's a lot to do with this, because when I show you, let me show you the breakdown here. As you can see that we have this and it's climb, so it's leg. And to do this is very tricky because we have to recreate the geometry, and that's the first part I want to share with you, because I've had some comments like I should show them how to do, like how to create the geometry for something like this. And it's not that difficult, but it's not that simple as that. So let me just go ahead and show you. You can see that this shot is tracked. I've made several tutorials on how to do camera tracking, so watch them and you will learn some basic ideas to do tracking. So this is tracked, as you can see. Okay, so now we have just a simple plane on this floor. So I'm going to start with this plane. So I'm going to now just go to edit, then start extruding. So I'm going to just create my basic geometry for this. So So the side that matters most is this part where the leg is showing, and we have to really focus on that to make sure we do that properly. And this is my room, and when you check this, you can see that there's a gap up here. So we need to extrude this up a bit to that extent, then press E again to extrude on the X axis like so, just to this up, then E extrude on the Z axis like this. So when you scroll back and when you see this, you see that it's matching perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to subdivide this. Let me just add a loop cut instead of using subdivision, like this, something like this should be fine. It's not really important to do it this way, but I like to do it this way because I will still have to reproject the set directly to this. Okay, so we have something like this. So the next thing is to reconstruct its leg, and when you look at its leg, you see that it's not moving. It's like its leg is shaking, but it's not even affecting the scene because it's not even that visible that its leg is that shaking. Okay, so what we have to do is to recreate its leg with some basic mesh. So to do this, we have to just go to a frame where we can see its leg properly, somewhere like here. Then we'll start reconstruct this mesh. So to do this, we have to know that this is very tricky because we don't really know where its leg is on the 3D view. You can see. So we can just try to click here. You can see when I click, you can see that this is giving me like roughly where its leg is. I can even say that this is where I think its leg is. So let me just press swiftly, then add a simple cube to this. Alright. So let's play this to see where you can see that it should be fine by doing it this way. Okay, I'm going to drag this a bit. First of all, I should resize this before doing that, and let me just use this as another object. So L, then P, another object. Okay, so I'm going to scale. You can see that the origin is not there anymore, so I'm going to press object, set origin to geometry. So now I can scale up and down on the geometry. So that's it. I'm going to drag this back I'm going to drag this forward. I'm just guessing, like I don't really know right now, but E S Z, then okay, R and Z to rotate. You can see where his leg is facing. So now we need to let this to touch the ground. You can see that it's not touching the ground, so I have to select this down, then E, extrude on the Z, just right on the top of the surface. So I'm going to press to the edge view like this. I'm going to drag this up a bit, and I'm going to start modeling this leg. So select this, then S. I'm going to change this to local view, S, then Y, okay, S, let's scale like this. So drag it down, okay, so I'm going to select this, then extrude upward, E, X. Okay, so I'm going to drag this up. That's why I said it's very tricky doing something like this. You have to be patient and adjust this. Okay, now you can see that the leg is matching the scene, which is exactly what we want. So I'm going to add another loot cut here on this edge of his leg, like the toes. Add like something like this, then select it, then drag it up. What we are doing is to create like a rough mesh for his leg. I'm not saying you should create like accurate leg. If you want to create accurate leg, you can do that, but why should I waste so much time on doing that when I don't really need it? Extruding upward, then S, and drag a bit, then E, extrude up. Let me just drag the video back again. S. You can make this more precise as you want, but one is not really relevant. So press E, then S to scale, and E upward again. So this is like a rough mesh of his leg. I know that it's not perfect, but this is leg. So let's turn on our object for a year or so to see exactly what we are getting, and this is it. You can see we have the mesh. So now the next thing now is to create our Venom itself. So I'm going to share you and show you how I create this Venom, and I know it's not perfect, but at least it's something. Okay, now that we are done with this one, so let's create the Venom. Okay, now I'm going to center this cursor to center origin. Then what I'm going to do is to add a circle, like a UV sphere. I'm going to add a UV sphere. So for this UV sphere, I'm going to reduce the segment, like 16 segments, and I'm going to drag it up. Then I will scale it down like this. Okay, something like this. So now I'm going to animate this. This is exactly how I recreate this. I'm going to show you now. So drag this back. Then turn on this auto record because I want to auto keyframe. So whenever I add a change to this, it will affect the keyframe. Okay, so the first thing, come up here to 80 frame, then drag it to the scene. Let me just play that to see exactly how it's working. Okay, yes, working fine. So for this, I'm not just going to drag it up, I'm going to rotate it also. RY, then rotate it like this and drag it, and it will touch down to be showing back. You can see that it's showing on the other side of the mesh, which is exactly what I want. So rotate, you can see how it rotates. So again, you need to drag it up a bit, then rotate. So let's play this also. Now it's going to clap its leg. So we're going to drag it at the top of its leg like this. So we can rotate that also. So we have another rotation there, and we are going to climb its leg like this. Then for the rest of the shot, we're going to drag it up like this. I'm not sure if this keyframe will be that good for it, so we have to cross check to see exactly what we are doing right or what we are doing wrong. So we need the mesh to be like touching it like so. Okay, I see this. Let me just play everything, save it, and let me play everything to see it exactly what we are doing. So here, when the mesh is about to climb its leg, I mean the venom, you can see that it's slow a bit, so we need to fix that by rotating it also again. So something like this, it should be something like this. Then let me just object. So alright, so this should be fine. Okay, now that we are done with the simple animation that we are going to add to this, so now we have to focus on the faces. So the first thing to do is to subdivide this. So subdivide to, okay. So the next thing is to add a displacement. So go here, add a displacement, then add a new displacement. Click here, go to the image and add a cloud to the texture type. So we need to go back to the modifier, then reduce the texture. You can see that it's too much, the strength is too much. Then W, smooth shade. Okay, now let's play the animation to see what we are getting and see what we are getting. But we need to have some changes in this displacement. So what we are going to do is to add an empty, so we can just pick somewhere around this back. So I'm just going to add an empty to this. Okay, empty axis. So I'm going to turn on the key, then drag this here, then drag this up, not too much. Let's play the animation. You can see how slow it is. Okay, so we are going to click here, then the coordinate. So we are going to change it to object, and we are going to select the empty as we just animated. So it will affect the displacement. Now you can see what is going on. Okay, you can see that this starts the empty, the displacement is very fast and from the beginning. So to fix that, click back on the empty, then press T here and change it to linear, the motion to linear. So I want to play this again, so it will affect everything properly. Okay, so now we've done that. So now this is the faces part. We are going to go to the faces tab here. Now we are going to add a soft body. Click here and add a soft body. So now that we add the first soft body simulation, if you play this, this is exactly what we are going to get. It's not affecting anything because we don't have collision. Click here, add a collision object to this. Now we have something to collide with. And the simulation part, we have to set the simulation from the beginning of this frame, which starts from 55. So I'm going to go to, click here, go to the cache, then start from 55, because it's not simulating. That's the problem. Then the end should be 192 like this. Now the simulation is going to start from the beginning, so you are going to see the effect. You can see that it's appearing slow, and you can see how it's reacting, which is exactly okay. So now I'm going to put the friction You can see the friction we have 0.5 and the mass is 0.2, its mass is 2, but the speed, let's change the speed also to 2 to see what we're going to get from this. So the animation overall will be much more faster, and let's see exactly what we get from it. Okay, you can see that this improves it a lot. Okay, so from this floor you can see that everything is looking fine. So what we are going to do is to also add some simulation, also affect delay. But to do this, there's nothing we can use except force. So let's use force. Now click on the force field here, then change the type to magnetic. Now the strength is too low if you put it at 1, so let's change it to 4. Okay, and let's play this to see exactly what we're going to get from it. Look at the force we added, so let's put the flow to 2, and let me play it first to see exactly how this is going. You can see it here. So it's looking okay. So let's add a collision to this also. So let's play from the beginning. By the way, if you want this project file, is that this project file, you get it on my Patreon. So it's there. So this is, let me check where it's about to climb. It's like so something here. Okay, it's looking good. Alright, so this is it. So the next step is to add the noise effect to its bottom. So let's add the noise effect to it. So to add the noise, we need the dynamic to do the noise. So what I'm going to do is to add a dynamic to the floor, and also to the Venom. So for this will be the canvas, and this will be the brush. You know, most likely this will be the brush and this will be the canvas, but this one, this time, this one will be the brush. Add brush to this, then set it. Repeat source to mesh volume, then click on the Venom, then canvas, then add a canvas. Okay, now we are going to click on anti-aliasing, not image sequence, text, and change the paint to weight. Okay, now let's come down here to the output, then click on the plus. Okay, now we have a dynamic going on here. So before I continue, I would like to cache my soft body simulation first. So I'll go ahead and cache it into memory because I want everything to play quite smooth. So I'm going to bake it. Alright, so our soft body simulation has been baked, so everything will play quite smooth. You can see it's playing very fast and in real time. So let's check the dynamic. So what we are going to do is to click here on the top, then go to weight paint. Now let's play to see exactly what our dynamic is doing. You can see how the dynamic is going. So in this process, we are going to tweak some settings from this dynamic, and we reduce the radius. So let's play it again, and dissolve, let's change the dissolve to 50 is too much. Let's put it to 15 or 20, but let's leave 15 for now. Okay, looking good. Okay, so now let's add dynamic also to the leg because we want the same effect for the leg. So you can see that when I play through, the dynamic is not affecting, it's not more visible from the leg. So we have to add a dynamic also to the leg. So what we're going to do, go back to object, click on the leg, then add a dynamic to this. So this also will be a brush. So add a brush, so set it to mesh volume, and that's all. So now we go back to the paint, click on the Venom, then go back to the wet paint. Alright, now let's play it from the beginning to see exactly what is going on. You can see now that the dynamic is affecting also from the leg, which is great. Okay, so the next thing to do is to have those noise that the one I made add. So to do that, we need to go to the modifier here. Now add a displacement. So the displacement, we are going to click on new, click here. Now we can use cloud, but we have to reduce the size a lot, something like now. So this is good. So we have to go back to the modifier, then add a subdivision to it. Okay, looking good. Now go back to the displacement. From the vertex group here, now change it to the weight paint we added earlier. So when you play this, it will only affect where the weight is. So look at it. You can see that it's affecting where the weight is. And this is exactly what we are looking for. You can see right here. Alright, you can see that this is working fine. Okay, this is basically how I made this effect, and the next thing to do is to set up the render settings and every other thing you might need for this. Okay, there's not really much going on here except the soft body and the simulation and the dynamics. Obviously, don't forget to add the collision because that is important also. Now you can go ahead and set up a shading, and the shading process is not difficult. So click on new shading, press shift A, go to texture, add a noise texture. Let's check it. Okay, for this noise we are going to add the color ramp. Now we are going to change the black part to something bluish and dark also. So we are going to drag this up, like we are going to twist it around. So it depends on what you want exactly. You can mostly go with something like this, and you can also add like a bump to it. Bump, then put it to normal, then plug it back here to the strength. It's taking long to load because this is one, then I will try and reduce it just a little. You can see that it's affecting it. Alright, so this is exactly how to do it, and this is how I made it. So that's all. And for this you can set up a render setting, and I've made several tutorials on how to set up render settings, render passes and all of that. So that is exactly what you are going to do. So for this, don't make a mistake, you are just going to assign the shader, like the image texture you are seeing right here, assign it to the floor and also to the leg, and that's it. Then do your render passes, set this as set the floor as shadow catcher and also the leg as shadow catcher, and that's all.
I've been expecting you.
You know what I'm here for. Give me the orb and we'll get this over with.
Ain't gonna be easy.
I guess we're gonna do this 2 ways then. Either my way or the hard way. We should say my way anyway.
My way.